everyone, welcome back to another video. It is now March, which means it's time to talk about all the books I read in February as well as my March TBR. Let's go. Okay, first off, I just want to preface this with the fact that unfortunately I didn't actually read that much in the month of February. I read a grand total of 3 books, which is really low for my standards, but I enjoyed them, so let's talk about them. Okay, the first book I finished reading was A Game of Thrones, the first one in a Song of Fire and Ice series by George R.R. Martin. And this book took me like a year to read, but I did read 60% of it in February. And given how long this book is, we're gonna count it as like a full book that I read in the month of Feb. I'm sure you know what this book is about. It's the first season of A Game of Thrones. And you know what? I actually really enjoyed it. It's a massive book. So I read it on my Kobo, and my Kobo said, you have like 3,000 pages in the book, which was wild. And it said about 24 hours total to read the book. I remember I read it a lot, and even at the 50% mark, I was so happy. I was like, wow, I made 50% through. And my Kobo still said 10 more hours to go. So this book really was massive. Though I did really enjoy it, I gave it a total of 4.5 stars. I did start it last February, so 2025 February, and I did put it down after a while. I just don't think I was in the mood for fantasy, and something was just calling me to it. It was sitting there on my Kobo as like currently reading, and I thought it would be nice to pick it up, and I'm really glad I did. I'm gonna be continuing this series. I haven't really started the second one yet. Well, I've started it, I'm like 2 pages in, but I have put it down for some time because I don't want to pick it up right after the first one and then get sick of it. But yeah, I'm sure you know what this is about. Game of Thrones, first season. I found that the show was very true to the book. Like, I think 90% of what's happening in the book was actually in the show, which I liked. It was kind of like rewatching the show in my head. I enjoyed it, and I'm really hoping I can finish this series over the next couple years. And I realized I don't have physical copies for any of these books because they were all read on my Kobo. Either I owned them or I borrowed them from the library. But the next book I read is Gutcher Gocher by Vivek Shanbhag. And this is a short book. So this is a novella. It's only 118 pages. And after Game of Thrones, I needed something that was short, to the point, not too drawn out. And honestly, this was a great one for that. The way I would describe this is a story of a family that evolves from rags to riches and their moral journey through that process, and at the end of that process. This book basically follows a young Indian man's close-knit family, and starts off in childhood when they're like super destitute, and his uncle founds a company, and then they are very wealthy. I will say it felt like they were quite morally bankrupt, because it kind of shows like the in-depth family dynamics, and this like evolution of gaining financial wealth and what that looks like. And I will say it's 118 pages. Like, it's something you can read in one day, really, if you wanted to. And I'm not gonna say more, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. The ending was super ambiguous. That's all I'm going to say. The book was humorous, thought-provoking, and unsettling in a lot of ways. And the ending kind of, I still sometimes think about that ending, and I had to go down this like Reddit like rabbit hole of like the ending. But all in all, a good book. I would recommend it. It's like a quick, like a 1-day, 2-day type of read. Okay, and the last book that I read in February was A Good Company by Cynthia D'Aprix Sweeney. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I really love The Nest by her. I have it back on my shelves behind me. And okay, just had to rearrange my camera because of the lighting. The Nest was great. It's like rich people family drama, which is a genre that I've really enjoyed. And A Good Company was similar to that. It's set in present day California, I believe. Starts off with a woman finding her husband's wedding ring that he had said he lost years ago. She finds it tucked into an envelope at the bottom of a drawer in the garage. And that's where the story unravels. And you get these perspective shifts between our main female character and that one nuclear family, and the other family that is very closely tied socially and emotionally to the first family. And you see the jumps in narrative between the two women, maybe the husbands here and there. And you really see this thread of lifelong relationships and how they change over time. Really, like, this is a literary fiction. There's a solid plot here, but it is less so plot driven than it is character driven. And you see our main character, what's her name? Flora is her name. Flora Mancini. She is sort of reflecting on her life and, sort of like, what does this mean? The fact that he's hidden his ring and he said it was lost, and what happened all those summers ago when he said he actually lost his ring. And I realize as I say this out loud, the plot doesn't really sound like much, but it is one of those books where you're kind of reading it for the deep character arcs. You're reading it for a little bit of a mystery in it, but you're really reading it because you like reading family dynamics and complex, entangled, nuanced relationships. I will say though that this one was a bit slow for me. I did find myself just like, the last 5 chapters, I was just like rushing through it. I was skimming through them. I wasn't really invested that much anymore. This didn't get its hooks in me as much as The Nest did. And I noticed she has a new book actually that just came out on March 3rd yesterday. It's called Lake Effect, and I initially added it to my TBR pile, but I'm gonna take a pause on that, and I'm gonna see next time I feel called for something like this if I'm gonna pick up one of her books, because right now I'm just sorry to say this one didn't really hit the spot for me, but it was still pretty good and I gave it 3.5 stars. Okay, now let's move on to the books I want to read in the month of March, and I'm really hoping it's going to be a great reading month because honestly I've been in a bit of a slump in February. First up are the books I have already started and I'm hoping to finish them in March. The first book is The Retirement Plan by Sue Hinsenbergs. And this is a local author, and this is a debut, and I got this last summer when I went to a book fair, and I've started it and I'm quite enjoying it. I'm about 60% through on audiobook, so this bookmark here is only like halfway through, but I'm 60% through and I'm enjoying it. It's quite fun. It's basically a cozy mystery. Starts off with our 3 women who are friends. They are older adults, and then they decide that their husbands need to die so they can get their husband's retirement money and like retire. It's obviously like not so cold-blooded as that. There's nuance to this. You get to see this like history of them being like really betrayed by their husbands and whatever, and they feel that the only way they're going to be happy now is if they have like $1 million and from their husband's insurance money. Like all cozy mysteries, it is a bit humorous, it's a bit over the top, and so far it's been fun and I'm actually excited to finish it. I've heard some really good things about this one and I really like the cover. I need to take these like stickers off, but I really like that. I like that lady in a martini glass, and I've been wanting a good cozy mystery for some time, so I was actually happy to pick this up. I do this a lot. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I will buy a book that I know I'm going to like, maybe not right away, but I may like it in the future. So that TBR cart that you see right there, a lot of it is books that I have slowly acquired at sales or whatever, and I know myself to know that I will enjoy this book. Like 90% of the times I'm right, but I don't always pick them up right away. And this is one that I picked up last summer, but I'm glad I'm finally getting to it, and I think this one is gonna be a fun one. I know some of my friends who read it really enjoyed it. Okay, the next book that I have also started, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit physically and on audiobook, is Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. This is the newest book by the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies author. It's a mouthful, all of these titles. And this is just like another cozy fantasy, and I'll let you see how many like lovely little cats we have on the cover. It's a beautiful book. Like, it's so nice. I I like hardcovers that don't have like the dust jacket on them. Otherwise, I'm a paperback girl through and through. This one, similarly, I am about halfway through. March has already been a more of a productive reading month. I'm about halfway through and I'm enjoying it. This is set in 1920s Montreal, I believe. This is a Canadian author. It's set in 1920s Montreal, and we live in a world where like there is magic and it's like known, but magic isn't so much of a skill that you possess, but more of like an energy that exists that anybody can wield it. So the people who are magicians, the magic isn't within them. The magic is in objects like artifacts. And then if you know kind of the right things to say or do when you're trained in it, you can wield that power, which I liked. And it has our main character, Agnes Aubert, who runs a cat shelter basically. And she's looking for a new place to rent because the last place she was renting was destroyed by magicians fighting. And nobody wants to rent to her because nobody wants like a cat shelter in their space. And she ends up getting in touch with this magician with a bad reputation, and things kind of go from there. If you have read Encyclopedia of Fairies, it's quite similar in the sense you have a very strong-headed female main character who is like really driven, has like a strong sense of purpose, and initially when she encounters her male love interest, there is hesitation. There's like a lot of like grumpy. I'm not even gonna say grumpy sunshine. They're both grumpy. And then it's going to, evolve how from there. I wouldn't call her books romance. They are cozy fantasies, and romance is a subplot, which is a type of romance that I enjoy. And so far I'm liking this. I'm actually really liking this. I was a bit scared to get it just because I wasn't sure, again, if I was going to enjoy this author again. Usually I found that when authors get really popular, for me at least, the quality seems to kind of go down because I may be just feeling, I don't know, pushed around by editors, publishers, book demands, book deadlines to me, I don't know. But so far, I'm enjoying this. Oh, and while I am here, let me show you the most beautiful bookmark that my friend got me from China. Yeah, look at that. This bookmark is beautiful. It's made out of metal and it has a little hanging charm. I don't know how to show that, but it's great. I've been really enjoying it. And it goes at the bottom of the page, so you have this like little dangly bit. Okay, moving on. So the next book that I want to read in the month of March, I did start it last night, so we're still in the beginning of the month, is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And I actually found this at my local Home Sense for like $8. And I was like, you know what? I've been hearing so much about this book. I'm going to pick it up. And actually, so far, it's nice. It's been blurbed by Alice Feeney, Stephen King, Leanne Moriarty, Chandler Baker, Alex Michaelides, so a lot of these like known names. It's funny because Leanne Moriarty said it's laugh out loud funny, thrilling, and twisty. And I was like, laugh out loud funny. And actually now that I am 46 pages through, the main character is so sassy and witty. Like this is not a cozy mystery. This is a thriller. It's like a proper thriller, and the plot is thrilling. And the setting is a little thrilling, but she's just so like sassy. It's like funny. Sometimes she'll say these one-liners and I'm kind of chuckling a little bit. But this is about our main character, Lucy. So Lucy and her best friend, Sabby, they were, the known girls in their small Texas town. And then one day, Sabby, her name is Savannah, showed up dead, and Lucy is just believed to be the murderer. It's now a few years later. The cops didn't have enough evidence to arrest Lucy, so she went on to kind of live her life, and she doesn't remember anything from that night. But she has that reputation as a killer. Everybody's convinced she's the murderer. So she goes back to her hometown for her grandma's birthday, and there's also a podcaster, Ben Owens, who is digging up this cold case and starts to get involved. That's all I really know about it. That's all I want to know about it. I will say it's pretty fast-paced so far, just like 46 pages through. We're seeing like things happen. We're getting like the podcast interviews. So the mixed media is nice in here. The next book I want to read in March is Alice Feeney's My Husband's Wife. This is her newest book. I am very skeptical going into this. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Don't get me wrong. I love Alice Feeney. Back here, I have a few of Alice Feeney's older works. I really enjoyed His and Hers. That's like one of my favorite thrillers of all time. I've enjoyed Daisy Darker by her. Like, I enjoy her work, but I have found that as she has, again, become more popular, it's just not speaking to me. Like, I know some people love Rock, Paper, Scissors. I couldn't finish that book, and I tried twice. So I'm a bit skeptical about this one. The reviews are great right off the bat. In my book club with my friends, we've ended up picking My Husband's Wife. If you haven't heard of this one, what all I really know about it is this like wife, she one day goes out for a jog, doesn't take her phone or anything because she just wants to be present and mindful, enjoy her jog, finishes her hour-long, 2-hour-long run, comes home, opens the door, and this like strange woman answers the door. And our main character is, you know, sort of taken aback, and she's like, "Who are you?" And the woman who answers the door says, "Who are you? I'm sort of the owner of this house." And the husband comes up behind. The husband, who is the main character's husband, is now saying he doesn't recognize her and is saying the woman who's answered the door is his wife. So hence the title, My Husband's Wife. And that's all I know about it. That's all I'm willing to know about it. And I'm curious to see if I enjoy it or not. I'm keeping my hopes in check. All right, the last book that I'm hoping to get through in March is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This, again, book has been making its rounds on BookTube. I have heard some really great stuff about this. Again, I got this at a book fair last summer as well because I knew I would like it. It's quite a skinny book, but it is hard hitting. All I know about this is that there's like 39 women in an underground like bunker who are imprisoned there, and they're watched over by guards. Like, they don't really know how they got there. They only like slightly remember their life before. And I believe it's about a young girl, so the book is from her perspective, who maybe was born in that space, but she's never seen other men. So I think she doesn't know, she doesn't have like lived experience interacting or being the presence of a man. And I think how they get out and free themselves, I think that's it. That's my understanding of it. If you read it, let me know how you liked it. And the bookmark that I got to go with this book, love it. No uterus, no opinion. I thought this was really funny. This is gonna be my bookmark for like a lot of my female rage, feminist, main female character energy type of books. So I'm looking forward to using this bookmark and reading this book. Whew. Okay, there you have it. Those are the 5 books I want to read in the month of March. And the 3 books that I read in February, these are small numbers, but hey, whatever works. Let me know if you've read any of the books I've spoken about today. If you think there's something that I should be reading, adding on to my TBR list for March, let me know. And thank you so much for being here again, and I will see you next time. Bye.